Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Mystic Destinies. The next day is Sunday, so on a whim, I decided to take the train to my dad's house. I'll wait there all day if I have to. I have to talk to my dad. I'll ask him for advice, and I'll finally ask him about Shizuka. As expected, my sister Kaio is the only one home. Hey, look, where's our sister? She looks like us. It's really weird. She greets me with so much enthusiasm that I start to wonder how it's even possible that she has that much energy in her. We make ourselves some tea and snacks together and sit in the living room. So we're like in college. Is she like... Doesn't she look like she's in like middle school or something? Is she that much younger than us? So what's new, Kaio? Actually, I have some big news. I have a boyfriend. Really? What's his name? His name is Yuki, and he's in my class. And he's just the most wonderful person ever. Wasn't that the same guy from the last one? That's adorable. Anyway. He's an artist actually, and he's really cool. I think you guys would get along well. He does sound cool. So, how are you doing in school? I'm doing really well actually. I'm one of the top students now. And I joined a bunch of clubs and stuff, so school has been really fun. I look at my little sister as I take a sip of my tea. I can't get rid of the worry in my heart. What would happen to her if she had to be the one to take over the company? I know it might be a little early to ask, but have you thought about what you want to do in the future yet? Well, I've been thinking, and maybe I could be a writer. Then Yuki could draw my book covers. Or maybe I could continue studying flute and become a musician, or maybe even do acting. She looks so serious when talking about what she wants to do. I smile. It's so wonderful that she has so many dreams. A strange feeling stings my heart. Kai was always so full of hopes and dreams. Well, me? I never really had any, because you were created to not have any, honey. Poor thing. The image of Tatsuya flashes in my mind, and I realize something. He's more like me than I ever realized. He's doing everything he can to give his little siblings the same chance, the chance to follow their dreams. Kaio and I spend the evening together, just talking and then making dinner together. Dad doesn't come home until later that night. I wait until the three of us finish having a nice family dinner together before bringing up what I wanted to talk about all this time. Luckily, Kaio leaves to her room right after dinner to call her boyfriend, as she does every night. Dad and I have a seat in the living room, and he pours me a glass of wine. So what was it that you wanted to talk to me about? I take a sip of my wine, giving myself some time to sort out my thoughts and how to begin explaining everything. I look up at Dad. He's watching me with a gentle smile, and I know he's patiently waiting for me to start talking, whenever I'm comfortable. I take a deep breath. I need to talk to you about everything that's been going on in my life. There's a lot, so you might be surprised. I tell him everything, what's been going on in as much detail as I can, and everything that Katsunosuke said about Shizuka. Dad listens to everything very patiently. He doesn't rush me, even when I have to pause a couple of times to gather myself. I'm so sorry you had to go through all that, sweetie. I had no idea that your life had become so difficult. You must know that you don't have to sacrifice yourself or your future for the business, and you certainly don't have to marry anyone for it. He sighs, and for a moment I see how tired and sad he seems. Dad tries to smile for me, but it comes out more like a grimace. As for what Kasima said about your mother, I think it's about time you know then. How we met, what I know, everything. I lean forward in my seat, listening to every single word. Dad tells me the story of himself and Shizuka from the very beginning. That they met over 30 years ago when he was still very young, very arrogant, and very hot-blooded. He fell in love with Shizuka very quickly, but she wouldn't give him the time of day, not like that. At the time, he didn't know that she was an immortal. How could he have known something like that? How could he have known something like that? But even if I had known, it wouldn't have stopped me in the slightest. There was always something so lonely about her. I wanted to help take some of that loneliness away from her. He tells me that somehow he managed to get her to agree to finally go out with him. For a while it was amazing, but during one of their dates something had attacked them, and Shizuka was forced to reveal her magic to defend him. I think in that moment, I fell even more in love with her. With the incredibly powerful and wonderful woman that she was. After that, Shizuka had told him the truth about herself, that she could never die. Dad didn't care, he wanted to be there for her, even if it was just for something that might have seemed like a blink of an eye to her. But Shizuka left, and no matter how or where he looked for her, he couldn't find her. Dad did try to move on, and he was very happy with Kaio's mother, but unfortunately, she was a very frail woman. After the death of his first wife, Dad renewed his search for Shizuka, And that's when he found her. And me. Wait, so did she actually, maybe Shizuka really actually loved him so much that she created this homunculus to put her life force into, that she could actually live a normal life and be like, hey, now we can live and die together and grow old together. That's actually kind of cute. I mean, still, it's fucked up, but it's kind of cute in a way. But he tells me of how torn Shizuka was over her decision to go through with the ritual. Giving birth to you is perhaps one of the very few decisions that she didn't regret in her long life. You are her treasure, and you became mine too. You aren't my daughter biologically, but that doesn't matter. It never mattered to me. In my heart, you're as much my daughter as Kaio is. I wipe away the tears forming in my eyes. I love you, sweetie. You're my precious daughter. Never forget that, okay? I love you too, Dad. Thank you for finally telling me this. Hearing what he had to say leaves me feeling relieved, knowing that she didn't hate me, knowing that she might even love me, whatever she is, or wherever she is. As I lie in bed that night, I reflect on what my father told me. All those times, in all those dreams, she had seemed so sad, so unwilling. Now I understand why. But that doesn't mean that I subconsciously knew she felt that way. But does that mean that I subconsciously knew she felt that way? Or does it mean that she was really there? I don't know the answer to those questions, but I finally feel like I can stop being so afraid. She didn't hate me. She didn't want to hurt me. Even if I can't agree with what she did, knowing that eases so much pain in my heart. I realize now that all the doubts I have in my heart don't have to rule over me. Somehow, hearing that story, hearing that I'm the daughter of a woman that's strong, it makes me feel that I have enough strength to deal with anything life throws at me. I kind of like how, obviously, like, you're never going to learn more. We barely saw a show in this whole entire path, like, you know, which, I guess they got to kind of balance it out, but you kind of learn more about her as you go along. So, I really definitely feel like this game is absolutely meant to be played, like, every single path and not just, I'm just going to pick this guy because, yeah, you have a full story, but, like, if you play show's route, you don't know kind of all of this backstory. You kind of just, well, I guess it's not important, or you just kind of have to fill in the little bit of holes yourself, but then playing this path, and then, you know what I mean? Like, everything kind of starts to fill in a little bit more. You get a little bit more depth to the characters than you had if you just play one path, but I don't know, like, as you go. I suppose if you play them out of order, like when they're all out, if you play them in a different order as opposed to the straight across, it might be a little bit weirder, but anyway. It makes me feel like I have enough strength to deal with anything life throws at me. I'll make my decision. I can do this. I won't let either of my parents down. Do we actually get to make a decision, or is it going to choose for us? I don't know. I'm running. Oh, I haven't had a dream like this in a long time. Not since I told Tatsuya about Shizuka. Somehow I can think these logical thoughts, but I'm still running in darkness. It's like I'm watching myself play a role in a movie. I stop, hearing a voice. From my left, Tatsuya's voice, a voice I've missed so much, calls out to me. From my right, a smooth but lazy voice that irritates the hell out of me. They're both calling for help. I realize that I can't help both of them since they're in opposite directions. It seems like Tatsuya is the right choice, but I remember all the awful things we said to each other, and how rashly and violently he acted without remorse, and how Katsunasuke's intentions aren't bad ones, how he wants to prevent more mistakes from happening. I have this awful feeling that if I choose wrong, I'll ruin hundreds, no, thousands of lives. Without me, though, I know they'll both die. I sink to the ground in darkness, sobbing. Who should I choose? Neither! We're going with Tatsuya. Hello. Sorry! After anxiously debating, I make my choice. And then I wake up. Because we love Tatsu. That was the dream I had this morning before I left my father's home for school. I woke up crying, finally realizing just how stressed out I'd been over this. I made it through the school day, but when I saw Tatsuya in the hallway, I thought I might start crying all over again. I can't go on like this anymore. I finish cleaning out the coffee machine and close the lid. Shinji walks up to me. There's someone here to see you. Me? Shinji gives a brief nod and returns to the bar. I walk up to the bar and gasp when I see you standing there. Is it? No. Haruna? Hello. Hi. I'm sure you're wondering what I'm here for. Well, yeah. I don't have much time to speak right now, but I was hoping you could come by Carnavalis when you get off later. I've been trying to get in contact with you for a few days now, but I didn't know when you'd be working. Oh, well, okay, sure. I have a break in an hour. Will you still be there? Yes, I'll be there all evening. I'll see you later then. With a small bow, Haruna excuses herself, and I watch her go with confusion. What just happened? There's a small part of me that's a little jealous, too. Now that I've talked to her directly, her mannerism seems so delicate and cute that I can see why Tatsuya would like someone like her. I breathe out slowly, not wanting to even remotely get started down that path. I might end up crying at work if I don't stop it. I'll just have to focus on my job until I can see what she wants. That thought is about all that keeps me from going crazy with curiosity over the next hour. I walk into the lounge. This time there's customers sitting at the bar and on the couches. I nervously pull my hands through my ponytail as I look for Haruna, but I don't see her. Maybe I should go ask someone? Right as I'm about to go do that, I realize that someone is playing the piano. It's Haruna herself. She plays a soft, jazzy number. She looks appropriately melancholic, but I don't think it's an act. An unpleasant thought runs through my mind. She looks so elegant playing. Tatsuya should probably be with someone like her. Wait, what if that's what she wanted to tell me? What if she's going to ask about Tatsuya so she can date him? Or maybe they're already dating and she's going to rub it in my face. She doesn't seem like that kind of person, though. No, she's the kind of person who would ask you, like, I hope you don't mind, I wanted to let you know before you found out otherwise that I'm dating him now, and she seems like she'd be the type to be so kind and concerning about your feelings, despite the fact that she was just stabbing a knife through your heart without realizing it. I stand there fretting, but I know that's not what's going to happen, because we're going to be with him. God damn it! We're getting the passionate ending! I probably don't know, but we'll find out. As I stand there fretting, Haruna looks up and our eyes meet. Her song slowly comes to a stop, and a few patrons give a round of scattered applause. She walks around the piano to me. Thanks for coming. Is that alright if we go sit at the end of the bar? Sure. Haruna and I seat ourselves at the very end of the bar, a few seats away from other patrons. The bartender comes over, and Haruna looks at me. Do you want a drink? Just some water is fine. Haruna looks at the bartender, and he nods and grabs a pitcher of water and a cup for me. As he pours it, I start to wonder why Haruna is being so nice to me. Maybe she's always this nice? Or maybe she's just making a show of it. I accept the glass and look at Haruna as I drink it. I can't help but be suspicious of her intentions. After the bartender leaves, she begins talking. I'm sure you're wondering why I've called you here. It's not something that was an easy decision for me to make, but I'm so worried that I knew I had to try to help some way. Worried about what? Has something happened? Yes and no. I'm sure you figured this out, but it's about Tatsuya. I went to visit his mother last week at Blue Sky to see how he was doing, but she wasn't like her usual self. She was very worried about him. She said he wasn't acting as he usually does. What? But I've seen him around school and he seemed fine to me. What do you mean? She told me that he and you broke up. I had no idea you were even together. But she said after that, he's been acting really moody. He's been snapping at people and shirking his duties. She said he hasn't been over to visit the family or even his grandfather. He's been making excuses that he's too busy with school to do so, but she doesn't believe that's it. On top of everything, she said the leader of his clan, Katsunosuke Kazima, has been pressuring the Yukamuras. Something about a business deal? I don't quite understand it all. Mrs. Yukamura sounded like she was under so much stress, and she's always been so kind to me. I thought about what I could do to help them, but I was scared to talk to Tatsuya while he's like this, so I tried to find you instead. I see. I had no idea. I haven't spoken to Tatsuya since the day we broke up. Feels really weird talking about this, especially with Haruna. But isn't he your partner in class? He is, but I don't think either of us have been mature enough to continue at that. He hasn't mentioned anything, and neither have I. I guess he might also think I'm fine enough on my own now. I'm not sure how much you know, but my powers have calmed down, so I don't technically need him anymore. But it seems like he needs you. Gasp. Haruna, don't you still have feelings for him? You must, or you wouldn't be doing all of this. I suppose I'm that transparent. Yes, I still love Tatsuya. Even if I knew, hearing the words end up bothering me a lot more than I thought it would. But that doesn't mean we're right for each other. I see. Would you mind telling me what happened between you two? How you got together? Tatsuya didn't explain much. Alright then. Tatsuya and I met back in high school. It was our second year. We were both in music courses together and music club after school. We were both pianists at the same level, so we often got partnered together. I was very shy, so I didn't have many friends. But Tatsuya always talked to me like anyone else. And he was quiet enough that I was able to finally open up and talk to him. We became friends naturally. Although I can't say I've always understood the way he thought, I admired his confidence and intelligence. Tatsuya didn't have many friends either, but it was mostly because he was too abrasive to people. I was always afraid he'd be mean to me as well one day, but instead I found he became kinder and more patient as time went on. I can't tell you when I fell in love with him. These things just happen before you know it. It would have been better if she was like, I care about him, like I love him as a friend and whatever, not like I'm still madly in love with him, but I'll just pine away for your boyfriend while you're with him, because that just makes it completely awkward and makes me not trust you, I'm sorry. But I found out he felt the same way as me when we kissed after he walked me home one day. I swallow. The story is difficult to hear, but I try not to let it show on my face. Things always went well when we were together, at least that's what I thought. Around that time, his family started losing money, and we were forced to move out of their ancestral home. Tatsuya took on more responsibilities, and I was too young and dumb to understand the kind of stress he must have been under. So even back then, Tatsuya was burning himself out like this. I wonder how long it's been since he's just relaxed. I thought everything was going well. So finally, one day when we were walking home, I opened up and told Tatsuya the dream closest to my heart, to become a famous pianist. But instead of responding how I'd hoped, he told me that it was a pipe dream, that things like that don't happen in the real world. I was in shock. I was so hurt by his words. I asked him, how could you say that? Without even looking at me, he told me he had to quit the music club, so he knew that dream would be impossible for him already. He said I needed to get real too before I waste any more of my time. He was so cold, I finally thought I realized what everyone had been saying about him, so I shouted those words at him that I regret so much. You're just like everyone else says. You're a cold, mean person that only knows how to hurt people. The words sound so similar to what I said to Tatsuya that I shift uncomfortably. It's no wonder he wanted to break up with me after that. I never forgot how stupid and hurt he looked. He didn't say a word, and I ran home the rest of the way. Haruna gently wipes her tears away. Oh, good lord, girl, and you haven't gotten over it yet? You're like in college. I mean, I'm just saying at some point, you just gotta realize you made a mistake and it's too late to fix it, so. I went home and cried. The next day I changed all my classes with him. I never spoke to him again until last month, but I always regretted what I said to him that day. And as I got older, I started to believe in my mind that we should have never broken up, and that we could have made things work. So when I saw him again, I thought that was a sign that I should try to fix things. But it seems like Tatsuya hasn't changed, and I haven't either. And now history's repeated itself. Tatsuya is a kind person inside, and he's dealt with a lifetime of people misunderstanding him, saying cruel things about him. I don't think he can take any more pain. I don't think he'll ever let anyone else in again when he's already hesitant with me. But I think there's a chance for you and him. I'm sure Tatsuya is going through a tough time right now, and honestly, I'm not strong enough to be at his side. So please, don't give up on Tatsuya, okay? I kind of, again, wish instead of she'd be like, I was totally madly in love with him, to be like, look, I messed up because I wasn't strong enough, but you could be better, and, I care about him as a friend, and, because yes, you can sit there and say, well, if I hadn't made that decision, maybe we could have been together, but I did make that decision, and it wouldn't have worked between us anyway, and, you're a better person for him now. I'm still madly in love with him, but I guess you can be strong enough because I can't be. So what you're saying is if he looked at you, you'd gladly take him away from me? Because that's just rude. Rude! After finally hearing the entire story and realizing how hard this must be for Haruna, I'm not sure what to say. I don't know if we can work out either. Tatsuya and I fight all the time, and nothing's been easy for us. But that's why I think you can do it. You fight because you care so much, and because you're two strong people. I don't know you well, but if Tatsuya chose you, I believe in you. In both of you. Thanks, Haruna. I'll give it some thought. Why don't you just tell her how much you miss him? Be like, I do miss him, and I wanted us to be together, but unfortunately I said something stupid, which I didn't mean to say, and it's a long story. He tried to kill Katsunosuke, even though, Katsu is a douche. He didn't deserve to die. I don't really think he deserves to die, but Haruna wipes her tears again and smiles brilliantly. I just think he's a douchebag. He's like a selfish, entitled, rich kid. You know what I mean? Like, he's not like a horrible monster, but he's just like, wow, you are just so all about yourself and fuck everybody else, right? Okay, nut punch. Okay, Haruna wipes her tears again and smiles brilliantly. Good luck. I'll be rooting for you. I nod and get up from the bar. Haruna watches me as I leave the bar, her confident smile never leaving her face. If she can believe in us, can I believe we still have a chance too? Yes. After I had finished my shift, I went home and completed my bedtime rituals. I'm sitting on my bed staring blankly at my phone. I can't stop thinking about Haruna's story, and Tatsuya and Katsunasuki. And of course, my role in all of this. When did things get so complicated? I sigh and start typing to the only person left who might be able to give me more insight so I can finally make my decision. Can we meet up tomorrow? I press send and get to bed. A few moments later, my phone buzzes. I hold my breath as I pick it up and read the text. It's either Takumi or Tatsuya. Of course, when? I begin arranging a meeting tomorrow after classes, relieved that by tomorrow night this whole thing will be over. I'll choose who to side with tomorrow, and I'll stick with it to the end of the deal. I'll bring my information to father as soon as I can, and pray I've made the right choice. Oh god, she's not going to meet Katsu, is she? I snuggle under the covers, and for the first time in a long time, I enjoy a peaceful sleep. It's Tuesday evening after my classes. I'm sitting on one of the benches at the empty courtyard. The October air is chilly, and I find it rather refreshing. Still, I've been here for a few moments and no sign of him. He better not have forgotten to show up. I continue to wait, pulling my cardigan closer to me for warmth. I'm so confused. Who's it going to be? That's when I see a figure in the distance. I wave at him so he'll see where I am. But the figure doesn't wave back, and I realize it's not him. Well, that's not embarrassing or anything. As the figure gets closer, I can see it's a slender person with a hood up. This is the person that attacked us. I'm suddenly stricken by a bad feeling like an omen and start to rise up from the bench. That's when the figure raises two hands up, their expression unchanging. I can see something, electricity, crackle from hand to hand, and I can feel their murderous intent. At the same moment, they throw out their hands and lightning rapidly arcs toward me. I fling myself out of the way, landing in the grass. Oh my god, what's happening? Why are they attacking me? I quickly roll over and fumble for my gear crystal. The person stopped walking, but is about to throw more electricity at me. I scramble to get up and activate my gear crystal. Tracksuit! It looks like a tracksuit, I'm sorry. The person tilts their head to the side, examining me while electricity hops from hand to hand. I quickly try to think back to my supernatural courses. Ice against lightning. What happens? Come on, Inara! The enemy seems to decide I'm not a threat because they widen their arms and the tiny lightning in their hands intensifies. I try to calm myself and throw out a hand, causing an ice wall to erect in front of me. That should buy me some time to run. I immediately turn to run, but then I hear a crackling sound as the lightning hits the ice. I look back to see the wall melting and the enemy sauntering toward me. No, that's right, electricity melts ice. But all I know is ice spells! Frantic, I start backing up. I try forming an icicle in my hand. I send it flying at the enemy, but they only have to move slightly for it to miss them. The corners of their mouth quiver slightly, smirking at my failed attempt. This time they make a quick, complex motion with their hands. Sparks fly everywhere as they summon what appears to be a giant sphere of lightning floating between us. I realize there's no way I can outrun it. Yeah, but you have ice, so even though electricity melts the ice, it at least stops it from hitting you! There's no way I can outrun it at the same time that I see that there's someone behind the enemy. Two black gloved hands appear from behind them, one holding a dagger and the other wrapping around their torso. The blade quickly presses against their throat, and their eyes go wide as they begin to comprehend the situation. Oh, hi! I like him a little bit more and more. He's like a ninja. I know he's only a human, but yeah, Takumi! Takumi speaks in a raspy, low voice that I almost don't recognize. Let your power go, if you even hesitate. Takumi presses the dagger deeper into his throat, and the man coughs. The crackling sphere fades out, but Takumi doesn't move. Who sent you? Do you think I'm playing? I already know you don't want to die, or you would have killed her already. I feel sick when I think about what would have happened if he decided not to listen to Takumi. Why should I tell you when you could just kill me anyway? Because I'll kill you if you don't. You're ruthless. Says the guy that just tried to kill someone in cold blood. No time for chit-chat, so get on with it before I lose my patience. It's the Mage Society. The name sounds familiar to me, but I have no idea who that is. Taku seems to, though. Why are they after her? If she dies, he'll lose his trump card. The Ryu clan will fall. Takumi removes his dagger from the man's throat and kicks him in front of him in one fluid motion. While the man is stumbling, Takumi grabs him by the hood and jerks his head back at the same time as he brandishes a syringe. He jams the needle into the man's neck before I can even comprehend what's happening and pushes down the lever. What are you doing? The man's eyes roll back into his head and Takumi lets go of his hood. He drops to the ground, unconscious. Putting him to sleep. Takumi bends down and grabs one of the man's legs. Help me drag him. What? We don't have time for this, Inara. Hearing the firmness in his voice, I reluctantly walk over and grab the man's other foot. I help Takumi drag him into the bushes. Are we seriously just going to leave him there like this? I got what I needed. Besides, I'm not messing around with that group if I can help it. Let's go before we're discovered. Change out of your gear and I'll meet you on the roof of Building 7 in a few minutes. Takumi looks at the windows near us and finds an empty classroom. I watch, incredulous, as he takes out some sketchy-looking lockpick and works the window open in seconds. Get going! All right! Takumi nods at me and hops into the open window. I sigh and deactivate my gear crystal, wanting to get the heck out of there myself. Because they're trying to attack her because they think if they take her out... But I'm not on Katsunasuki's side! After rushing through the campus and sneaking up to the roof of the building, I'm doubled over, panting. You're late. Sorry, some of us aren't freaking ninjas. I'm just kidding. You did better than I thought you would anyway. I love him. I can't wait till his path comes out. He gets more interesting as he goes. You should avoid being alone for a few days. It seems you're being targeted. But why? I didn't do anything. I can't say for sure, but I'll look into it. Just stay safe for now. Don't walk home alone and try to remain alert. It'd be better if you could stay with someone else. Right. Well, I'll try to be alert, but it'd be weird trying to stay with someone else. What am I supposed to tell them? That there's assassins after me? You could stay with us, though we're not always home. I don't know about that. The idea of staying with two men, one of them my one-time ex, doesn't sit right with me. Whatever, we can figure it out later. There's something you want to talk about, right? Yeah, there is. But first, thanks for saving me, Takumi. No problem. Like I said, I'll always be there for you whenever I can. Look, he's so sweet. Look at his precious little face and his little ninja hood. He's so adorable. But this thing you wanted to talk about, it's about Kazima, isn't it? Kasima, isn't it? Whatever his name is. I nod. I want to know what you'll tell me about him. I've gone out with him, spent some time. I have a better idea of the kind of person he is, but there's still a lot I don't know. I was hoping you could fill in some of those gaps. I can, yeah, but you might not like what you hear. You might not see me in the same light either. Aw, he looks so concerned. Well, Taku, I just saw you threaten to kill a man, and I still like you fine, so I think we'll be okay. I'll be okay. Right, okay. Takumi takes a deep breath and presses a hand against the fence, looking out to the city. I'm a private detective. I choose who I work for and what reasons I work. Through a series of circumstances, I became employed by both the Yukamura family and Kasima, whatever. Tatsuya and Katsunasuki. You were working for them? Like a double agent? Exactly. It's not something I normally do. I'm not a spy. I'm a detective. But when Tatsuya came to me for help, I couldn't just turn my best friend down. By that time, I was already working for Kasima, and my own personal code prevented me from just dropping the job. They actually both wanted me to look into and watch each other, amongst other things in Kasima's case. I see. So Takumi spied on his own friend. But my job for both of them is over, so I can talk about this to an extent now. I searched Kasima. Whatever you think of him, I know for a fact he's done terrible things. To his family members, even. Like what? Taku, murder would be just one of his crimes. He's killed people? Takumi gives a short nod. He may or may not have done it himself, but he's given the order. Yeah, I'm gonna say that maybe he had his sister killed. Cause hi, that electric dude. Totally, yeah. That's just scratching the surface. You don't need to know the rest. I hope you can see why leaving you with a guy like that might make me nervous. Well, yeah. But I knew he wouldn't do anything to you. You're worth too much to him. Besides that, you're free to live your life however you choose. I was fine with watching over you. You watched over me? Well, yeah, I couldn't just leave you alone. Tatsuya would have been mad at me too. He wanted me to look out for you as part of my job. Though I was surprised when I saw you in bed with Kasima. I knew it was none of my business. My first priority was getting you out safely. Nothing happened, you know. Yeah, I believe you. Plus, Kasima's a weird guy, but he's never been known to force himself on a woman. Really? I'm a bit surprised. Whatever else Kasima is, he's definitely complicated. I think in his twisted mind, everything he does makes sense if it's for his goals. I think in his head, he's the good guy making sacrifices so no one else has to. I don't know what to make of him myself. Sorry, it's not much, but that's all I can tell you about Kasima. I'm sure he's already told you his goals, so who you decide to support will be up to you. What about the Yukamuras? Is he right that they support outdated traditions? He is. The Yukamuras are usually the clan leaders, or pressure the Kasimas into doing what they want. But every leader is different, as Kasima himself is proving, so I don't see a point in trying to predict what will happen if he doesn't get his way. If I were you, I'd just take the evidence that's before my eyes and make a judgment based on that. A logical approach that I can't argue with. Thank you, Takumi. You sure are thanking me a lot these days, because you keep doing so much for me. How about you thank me by just making yourself as happy as possible? No matter what you do, I'm on your side. Alright, Takumi. I'll do my best. Takumi puts his mask back on his face, then... Come on, it's getting late. You can at least stay at our place for the night. It won't be safe at yours. We can decide what to do long-term later. Well, alright, I guess. Choosing between facing an assassin or sleeping in an apartment with two men. When did my life get like this? Oh, apartment with two men! If you gotta go with death apartment, two guys. Death or two... Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking the hot man apartment might just be way preferable to dying. I think anyone would agree. Takumi and I agree to rendezvous after he gets changed. Once he does, he takes me to his scooter and we head to their apartment. On the ride to Taku and Tatsuya's apartment, I have a lot to reflect on. Takumi spied on his friend, but helped him and protected me too. Katsunosuke has killed others to reach his goals, but only so that no one else will ever have to suffer. And Tatsuya and his family stubbornly believe their way is right, but are losing everything. All of these choices suck. I can see the good and bad in everyone's position. Yeah, we're choosing show. We're out. I'm just kidding. Nobody. I sigh and come to realize that there's no right answer. It's like Taku said, all I can do is what I think is best based on what I know. On top of my bigger worries, I'm also feeling distressed at the thought of seeing Tatsuya again, much less sleeping in the same place as him. Since talking to Haruna yesterday, I knew this day would come, though I didn't know how soon. I've been running away from everything too long. It's time to face the music. Admitting this seems to quell most of the anxiety in my heart. With the noise gone, I find that I've already known what I should do for some time. I need to defrost. Oh, we need to defrost Tatsuya's lovely heart. Ooh. But yeah, so... Anyway. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this part up here. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.